Did you know you can become a better developer just by playing Among Us? Let me explain. Welcome back to Web Dev Simplified. My name's Kyle, and my job is to simplify the web for you so you can start building your dream project sooner. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. And just like the title says, you can actually become a better developer by playing Among Us, or really any other game of the same genre, which is a social deduction game, similar to games like Mafia or Werewolf. All of these games will help you become a better developer. But why exactly is that? In order to understand that, we first kind of need to talk about how the game Among Us and all these other social deduction games work. Essentially, the way these social deduction games work is everyone is assigned a role, but this role is secret, so you're the only one that knows your role. And the goal of these games is to discover the roles of everyone else that's playing. And usually this is done in a small group of people, somewhere between 4 to 10 different people. And in order to discover these roles, you communicate with each other. But of course, with certain roles, you want to disguise who you are to pretend to be someone else. So there's tons of lying, there's deceit, and you're trying to figure out who's telling the truth, who's lying, and it's a fun game to play with anyone. In Among Us specifically, there's essentially two different roles that you can have. You are either a crew member or you are an imposter. A crew member is essentially someone that goes around and does specific tasks, and that's their only goal. Their only goal is to do specific tasks and complete those tasks, and if they do, they win. The goal of the imposter, on the other hand, is to kill all of the crew members, but they have to do so while pretending to be a crew member because the crew members can figure out who the imposters are and kick them out. And this process of trying to figure out who the imposters are and kicking them out is done inside of a meeting where everyone comes together, communicates, and tries to figure out who they think the imposter is. They vote on it and then kick them out. And this is where all of the lies and deceit come in, because the imposters are trying to say that the crew members are actually the imposter. They're trying to throw someone else under the bus, and the crew members are trying to say that the imposter is the imposter, and constantly people are fighting with each other and arguing and yelling, and that's where all the fun of the game actually is. But how exactly does that relate to programming? Well, essentially, the crew member is like you as a programmer. You have a Jira board or an Asana board that has a list of tasks, and you complete these tasks, whether it's connect to a database, add a new page to the home page, add an about section to the home page, do this, do that, change this color. All of these are your different tasks. And if all you ever did as a programmer was just go around and do these tasks one by one, check off the list, go down to the next one, do it, do it, do it, and you did all of them, then you would be an all right programmer. You'd get your work done, which is generally what you think you need to do as a programmer, and people would appear to be happy with your work. But this is not enough to be a great developer. This just makes you essentially a code monkey. You input something and you get an outputted result. It's no different than you telling a computer to do something and they give you a result, because there's nothing else that you're doing. All you're doing is going through the motions, completing task after task after task, and that's it. If you were to do this in the game Among Us, for example, all you did was just complete your task after task after task, and you didn't have any communication skills and you really didn't pay attention to what was going on around you other than the task in front of you, it would be impossible for you to figure out who the imposters are, and it'd be really easy for people to say you're the imposter because you have no communication skills, you really don't have an alibi, you really weren't paying any attention to anything other than the task in front of you. So that's a terrible strategy if you're going into that game. It's also a terrible strategy as a developer because you lack those precious communication skills and you're really not aware of anything else going on around you. One easy way this can be a problem is if you're not able to articulate the specific tasks that you're completing, it's impossible for a manager or boss to realize the work that you're doing. You may be completing hundreds of tasks per day, way more than anyone else. You could be the best developer on the team. But unless everyone else is aware of this, and unless you're actually doing tasks that are meaningfully moving the project forward, no one is going to know and no one is going to care. Which means when it comes time to give out raises or bonuses or promotions, people aren't even going to realize the work that you're doing because you're not able to communicate it, you're not being open with the team, and you're really not trying to work on furthering the project. You're just working on checking off boxes inside of a to-do list, getting task after task complete. And that alone is not enough to be up for promotion. People that do half the work that you do are more likely to get promoted and raises and bonuses because they're actually able to communicate the value that they have to the company while you're just in the corner doing things on your own without any communication. In some companies, this can be an even larger problem because people like to take advantage of the work that you do. They may try to take credit for the things that you do because you're not actually communicating that value and showing that you're actually doing things. And instead, someone else can say, oh no, I did that. It wasn't Kyle, it was me that did that. And it's a really easy way for people to steal your work, essentially steal your credit and look better to management, even though they didn't do it, you did it. But unless you are good at communicating and able to actually show that you're doing things, it's possible for people to steal that work from you. And that's something that happens in the game Among Us all the time. You could be the perfect crew member, always doing all of your tasks, But if one of the imposters throws you under the bus and they're better at talking and better at convincing than you, then maybe they can convince everyone that you're the imposter and they'll kick you out without even realizing that you were on their side the entire time. The most important thing to realize as a developer is that your job is not to write code. Your job is to further a company through the use of software, and writing code is just one of the ways that you can do that. One thing I see all the time with developers, especially junior developers, is that if you give them a list of things to complete, they're just going to go through that list and complete that, without actually looking at it and analyzing it and thinking, is this list even good? Should these things be done? Why are these things being done? Do they need to be done in a specific way to accommodate exactly what their use case is? Someone may come to you and say, we need to build out this super crazy real-time chat application with a chat bot and automated responders and all this other crazy stuff, when in reality, the reason that they're doing that is to try to increase the support on their website for users, when maybe just adding an email field would have been enough for all of these use cases to be covered. So instead of spending months of work building out this crazy robust chat system, you instead spend 10 minutes adding an email to the About section, and that's enough to cover all of the use case because maybe you don't have enough traffic to support the need of a whole real-time chat application, and instead just having an email is more than good enough for all of your customers' needs. This is why the best developers and the ones that are able to move up the quickest are the ones that are able to really look at a problem and find out what the best solution is and not just do the solution presented to them. Especially because many times tasks that you're given may not be exactly what you need. A customer may come to you saying, I have this problem and I need this solution. When in reality, maybe the solution that they give you as a customer is not really the best solution for the product as a whole. This happens all the time. I see Jira tickets entered into applications where it's like, customer said this problem, here's the solution that the customer gave us. And almost always the customer's solution is not necessarily wrong, but it's not the best solution. And it's going to end up wasting time because in the future, you're going to have to come back and change it and actually implement the right solution. So if you're able to immediately look at this and find out what the right solution is, you're going to be so much more valuable to a company because they're going to save all of that extra wasted time. So they're very likely to give you raises, promotions, and so on if you're able to use the extra communication and problem solving skills on more than just completing the task in front of you. And that is why I think Among Us relates so perfectly to programming, because if you're able to complete the tasks in front of you, sure, that's good enough and it'll get you to a certain point, but it won't really get you that extra step. If you want to go that extra step, you need to not only complete the tasks in front of you, but also make sure that the work you're doing is recognized and appreciated. And on top of that, most importantly, you need to make sure you're aware of the entire picture around you, the entire company, and everything that's going on so that you can make the best decisions possible for the company you're working for. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other discussion-based videos linked over here and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.